Evening, everyone. All right, welcome to the 2015 version of the Kallins Little Delgado Scholarship. And we're going to have a presentation tonight. I don't want anybody to think that they can't return to the buffet, because you can. You can feel welcome to do that. We're going to start and proceed forward. We've been known to be a little long-winded in previous years, so we're going to try to expedite this year, which is why we're starting right now. So I'm going to introduce my partner, Melton Little. I'm sure he's been around to meet all of you. And Melton's going to greet you, and we're going to move forward. Dessert's going to be served. We'll have coffee. We're going to have presenters who are going to speak about the recipients of the scholarships. And presenters, heads up for 1 second. There are 2 microphones, PA and TV. So you're going to have to hold both of them up like this in order to be recorded and heard. All right. So without further ado, here's Melton Little.
Thank you. We never promised the presenters it would be easy. We just asked them to come. Welcome again. This is the 2015 Kallins Little Delgado Scholarships. We've been awarding these scholarships since 2006. In that period of time, when we conclude tonight, by the end of this evening, we will have awarded 102 scholarships over the 9 years, which will have totaled $148,000. Tonight we're going to award 11 scholarships totaling $16,000. We have a number of presenters here. They're going to be introduced by Scott and Jimmy and some Jay, I think. And they will award the recipients. It's just basically our job to kind of mentor and usher the way through. So I do want to thank a few people that aren't going to be up at the mic, but that should be recognized. So I want to thank Ann. Where's Ann? Back there. And Heather. Ann's our office manager, and Heather does our office marketing, and they're responsible for putting all of this together. Obviously, none of us have the talent to put anything like this together, so that would be Ann and Heather's doing. I want to recognize Megan and Jamie. Megan's back there somewhere. Where's Megan hiding? There's Megan and Dr. Jamie Chatham. Megan is an attorney in our office. She handles our litigation department. Without her, we would be lost. Jamie Chatham is a radiologist at Manatee Diagnostics, so when any of you fall down and need an X-ray or an MRI, Manatee Diagnostic, free plug. I want to recognize Andy Proctor. Where's Andy? Andy's right over here by Summer. When you guys see those TV commercials, have all of you seen those TV commercials? Anybody in here not seen our commercial? Don't tell Andy. That's because you live in Sarasota, Harry. Those are all Andy Proctor creations. He was the insurance company's Play Hardball, and so do we, Genius. And he's the one that made Willie Cooper, one of my personal heroes, sitting over here, a TV star. Raise your hand, Coop. So we're really happy to have Andy and Willie here. Harry Haskins, who hasn't seen our commercial, back in the back. He's one of our honored guests. We're happy to have Harry. And we're happy to have Charles Clapsaddle from METV. He's back there behind the camera. And the only guy I like more at METV other than Charles Clapsaddle is Superman, who's back there on the camera. I thought he left METV. I was shocked when I saw him. So you get a chance, talk to Superman on your way out. I want to thank the press for coming. We've done this many years with no press, so it's nice to see some press occasionally. So I want to thank Tiffany Tompkins-Condy, who's taking the pictures, and Megan Delaney, who's back there with the notebook. If they ask you a question, we promise it's not a setup. They really are legitimately from the Bradenton Herald, so we want to thank all of them. Every year we have a keynote speaker, and so since 2006, we've had a number of them. There may be a list somewhere. If there's not, and you're interested, you can ask, and we'll be happy to fill you in on who our keynote speakers have been. But I'm probably more honored this year than any year in the past to present our keynote speaker. And that's a guy named Bob Davis. And all of you might be sitting there shaking your head going, well, who's Bob Davis? Never heard of him. He's somebody that lives in Manatee County that everyone who lives in Manatee County should know. but most of you probably don't. So let me tell you a little bit about Bob Davis, and then he's going to be your keynote speaker. Bob Davis was born in New York City, and Bob Davis has been changing lives for longer than all of you recipients have been alive. He was an incredible athlete. He won the ATA Junior National Championship in 1961 in tennis. He also won the ATA Doubles Championship with his brother Bill Davis. Both Bob and Bill are members of the Black Tennis Hall of Fame. Bob played this sport in an era when tennis was still segregated, which might be hard for some of you recipients to recognize or understand or even comprehend, that there was a time in this country where you were judged by the color of your skin, not your ability. That didn't stop Bob Davis, and he didn't think about that for a minute. He fought through that and never let that stop him. It's hard to imagine that Bob Davis is one of those individuals who's attacked racism by his deeds as well as his words. He has a degree in electrochemical engineering and business administration. He and his family owned and operated the Tarmar Tennis Academy, which was the first and only minority-owned residential tennis academy in America. In 1987, he joined with his friend, who some of you may have heard of, Arthur Ashe, a tennis legend, as Chief Executive Officer and National Director of the Arthur Ashe Safe Passage Foundation. That was a foundation and organization that was set up by Arthur Ashe and Nick Bollettieri, one of our former keynote speakers, to teach preventative health, to teach academics, and to teach tennis to more than 20,000 young inner-city men and women in 9 cities. Since he's been here in Bradenton at Bollettieri Tennis Academy, he created the Black Dynamics, Inc., which offered scholarships to IMG Academy to top talented minority young women and men. He's brought to Manatee County the Panda Foundation, Inc., which is a foundation that he formed and started that he modeled after the Safe Passage Foundation that he worked with Arthur Ashe. That currently serves 500 youth a year, and it started right here in Bayshore Gardens at Bayshore Elementary School. In 2014, Bob was inducted into the Black Tennis Hall of Fame, and also that year he co-wrote a book with Nick Bollettieri called Changing the Game. It's a biography of Nick Bollettieri's personal and professional life, and you recipients get something that no group of recipients has gotten before. In addition to your award, each one of you will get a book signed by Bob Davis of Nick Bollettieri's Changing the Game. He stays active with his foundations. He's most recently helped coach the Jamaican Davis Cup tennis team. He has a daughter, Tanya, who's a West Point graduate, another daughter who lives in New Jersey. His daughter, Tanya, is a graduate of West Point, currently works full-time as a volunteer at the Palmetto Youth Center. So volunteerism runs in the family. He's been a spokesman for diversity. He's been an instrument of change, and we're honored to have him as our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Davis.
First, let me take this opportunity to thank and to recognize each and every one of these scholarship recipients. It's a wonderful thing that Kallins, Little, and Delgado is doing year after year in recognizing the outstanding students that come through our community. As he said, they have contributed over $140,000 to deserving youngsters, and I'm proud of them for doing it. You know, when Melton asked me to be the keynote speaker, the only reason I'm here now is because of him. I would choose not to stand in front of you and tell you about myself. He kind of briefly spoke about my credentials. I did play in the U.S. Open in 1961 and 1962. I did win probably 50 junior titles as a child. Tennis saved my life, and I've spent the better part of my adult life giving back and trying to help urban kids develop the same kind of respect for one another and have the same optimism that I now have for you. Before I start to talk about the lesson that I'm going to give you today, I just want to tell you that a few years ago, I was asked to do a radio program in Dallas, Texas, and the very last question that was asked of me floored me. I was rolling along, because when I talk about tennis, I know what I'm talking about, so it's very easy to talk about it. But the very last question the guy asked me was, what is your greatest failure? And geez, think about that. I mean, how many failures have you had in your life? And I realized after a couple of seconds of thought that my greatest failure is that I never believed that I could be one of the best tennis players in the world. I used to beat Arthur Ashe as a junior, but he went on to win Wimbledon and the US Open. But I never believed. So I guess that's part of my message today. I'm going to tell you a story. There was a young man who lived in Seattle, Washington, the son of an attorney and a banker, I'm sorry. He was bright, easily bored with the everyday routine of homework, school. His parents decided to move him to a private school, Opportunity One. He was in a position where he could say, no, Mom, Dad, I'd rather stay. But he was challenged by this new opportunity and decided to accept it. So he went on to this private school. This school had a mother's club that used to do fundraising every year, and this particular year that he went, the mothers decided to spend their money on a computer. That was in 1968. Keep in mind that in 1968, no schools had computers. I know you guys don't even understand that. No schools had any computers. But he was excited that they were going to get it. By the time he was in the 8th grade, he was doing computer programming on a terminal in his school, which was connected to a mainframe system in Seattle. That's how they used to do it. They called it time sharing. You kids are too young to remember time sharing. You used to buy computer time. A group of programmers created a company called Computer Center Corporation, or C Cubed, and they leased the computer to local companies. One of those founders had a child at the same school, I think it's called Lakeside, that this young man went to. And that parent said, why don't we get some of the kids from this school? He jumped at that opportunity. Opportunity number 2. He could have chosen to play soccer rather than take the computer courses, and he could have opportunity 3. When they asked for kids to learn programming, he could have declined. He took that opportunity. C Cubed eventually went bankrupt, but our young man and some of his friends began hanging out around the computer room at the University of Washington. He and his friends skipped athletics and spent more than 1,500 hours of computer time on the university's mainframe, which essentially averaged 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. One day, the administrator at that college, University of Seattle, University of Washington, got a call from a technology company known as TRW. Anybody heard of that? Big company. They had just signed a contract to set up a computer system at the Bonneville Power Station, and they needed somebody who knew how to program this computer for them. Guess who knew? Our young friend and his friends knew exactly how to do it. So now I'm going to remove the mystery and tell you that this young man's name was, thank you, Bill Gates. Bill Gates, when he founded Microsoft, Bill Gates pledged to put a computer in everyone's home. Not only has he done that, he's got one in everybody's pocket. In fact, Bill Gates himself will tell you and anybody else that his entire success is due to the fact that he took every opportunity he could to elevate himself and educate himself better. That's Bill Gates. So what lesson am I offering you here tonight? Life-changing opportunities are going to be presented to you throughout your life. You might even find that there's one here tonight. Somebody here who knows you, recognizes you, has branded you as a positive individual, who has branded you as somebody who is aggressive and interested in moving forward, who may one day offer you a job. You never know when that opportunity presents itself. These experiences are not unique to Bill Gates. They happen to every single one of us. The question is, are you open? Do you see that opportunity? Are you open enough to take advantage of it and courageous enough to take advantage of it? A wise man once said that the path to success is usually not the beaten path. Don't follow the crowd because they're usually going the wrong way. That's just a fact of life. In closing, let me say that this law firm, which I have an incredible amount of respect for, Kallins, Little, and Delgado. I don't think I've met Mr. Delgado yet, but I'd like to. This firm has bet on you. They have bet that you are going to hit a home run with your life. And your parents and those people here that are here to support you are betting on you. Each one of you scholarship recipients, we're betting on you. And what we want you to do is we want you to hit your home run and come back here to Manatee County to make your life success visible to everybody and help somebody else along the way. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate you coming. And thank you, Bob. What we forgot to do, I guess I neglected to do it, I wanted to introduce all the lawyers in the firm. You've met me and you've met Melton. In the back is Jim Delgado. Why don't you stand up, Jim? Okay. Donnie Greco's an attorney in the office. Jay Horn, another young attorney in the office. And I do believe that Melton introduced Megan, and Megan is also another lawyer in our office. The first presenter that I'm going to introduce to you, recipients, is an example of the adage, nothing good in life comes without hard work. And the first presenter did just that. When she moved to Florida, she got a job in a law office and enjoyed it enough to move on through additional education in college by working in law offices through college, through law school, as a legal secretary. She did so as a single mother. She graduated from the University of Florida, then the Florida State University. I'm going to get punished for that. I can see I'm really going to get punished for this one. Working as a legal secretary through Florida State, next through Florida State Law School. She graduated from law school, became an attorney. She thereafter went to work for the Public Defender's Office. After that, went on to a career with the State Attorney's Office. Following the State Attorney's Office, practiced in the private sector and became the first female judge appointed by Governor Lawton Chiles, and has for the last some years, I'll leave the first digit off, that number, has practiced and has presided over every division of the courthouse in Manatee County. Judge Dunnigan, in addition to presiding as an active judge, has held administrative responsibilities. She has been a part of multiple organizations and on many boards within Manatee County. In addition to being a judge and on multiple boards, she has also acted in the capacity of a law teacher and is now a adjunct law professor. She is an incredible jurist, and those of you recipients who have never been to a courtroom, have never seen how a courtroom operates, should know that a trial judge deals with certain types of personalities. And trial lawyers are often known for pomp and circumstance and flair and drama. And it's really difficult at times, I can imagine, for a judge to maintain demeanor, to remain calm, to listen to both sides, to be fair and reasonable, and listen to all points while still dealing with peacocks cruising around the courtroom. And it's tough. It's really hard because the issues they decide are difficult issues, sometimes life and death issues, often very valuable and or rich issues. And it's a difficult job to go home every night realizing that you have to decide on people's lives in certain circumstances and on other facets of people's circumstances and lives. That's really sounded bad. But Judge Dunnigan is here tonight, and I want to welcome her wholeheartedly and with open arms. Oh, and there's one other aspect of your career I forgot to talk about. When you hear her tonight, you're going to hear this voice. And this is a voice that's been heard in many award-winning documentaries that have been published and shown around the community. And I'm sure that Pixar is waiting for the opportunity.
I hope. I hope.
Judge Dunnigan.
Thank you so much. Unlike Mr. Davis, I generally don't have a problem talking about myself. However, since he gave you all the good stuff, I will skip on to that and tell you that last night I was thinking about why you would ask people like me, maybe like Mr. Davis, who talks about life before computers. As I told my last law school class, I finished law school before cell phones, and they just glazed over. But what I do teach them, which Mr. Kallins will always remember now, is you must proofread your work. Proofread. I learned it as a legal secretary. It stayed with me forever. I teach it to law students. Proofread your work. Okay, so anyway. As I took a look at this recipient's paperwork, I thought, you know, people often say you should dream, you should follow your dreams. I was listening to a song, dream on until your dreams come true. But dreaming just isn't enough. You can dream, but you have to back it up with that dedication, that hard work, making good choices, living your life. And that's how you succeed. A step at a time, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. As long as you're moving forward, you will get to your goal. So when I was reading this paperwork from this recipient, here are the words that were referenced about her. Active, accepts the challenges, follows through, high caliber, perseverance, a leader, excellent, resilient, remarkable, reliable, conscientious, balanced. Let me say, I'm impressed. I want to grow up to be her. Now, this recipient is in the top 5% of the Southeast graduating class of 2015. She has a grade point average of just over 4.7. I looked through her 2010 to 2015's transcript. I counted 51 A's, 3 B's, and 1 C, and that was in honors trigonometry. And I don't want her to be discouraged because I, too, made 1 C in college, and it was in math. So there's hope. She intends to follow a major in psychology and gender studies. Any university would be honored and should be honored to accept someone of this caliber. And I want to thank Kallins Little Delgado for allowing that first step in a journey of 1,000 steps, to be just a little bit easier, and to know that someone cares and that someone actually paid attention to what you've done. So as Jenna Gilly gets ready for her next step, which will be the best times of her life, we can say that because we've been there. It will be hard. I hope it's hard, but it will be so well worth it. So congratulations, Jenna Gilly. Dream on. Thank you. So nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
That award was the Andrea Peters Award. Andrea Peters was a litigation assistant in our office for many years. Just a fantastic person. She kept us afloat for many years, and that's a picture of her right there, just in case. If you notice, we have a table. We've lost more people, but these are 3 people that we've lost recently, and it's always sad, but those awards are dedicated to them, and it's dedicated in their name. So that was the Andrea Peters Award. So you got something a little special. It wasn't that, but that was Andrea's award. She taught me a lot early on when I didn't know a thing. I still don't know a lot, but I know enough. And Judge Dunnigan, you're right, Scott does need a proofread. I don't think he's that good. I'm often right. I'll be in front of you next week. You are always right. I'm going to present one of our presenters. This is, when you talk about special, dynamic, fantastic, all the good words, that's her. If you know her, it's tiring just to see how many things she does. I'm surprised she had time for today. She's probably been to 5 events before she got here today. And I asked her, I said, send me some of your bio, because I know you, but send me some, like a bio real quick. Like, usually it's bullet point. Well, Amanda, you're awesome. She sent me actual copy. And with a joke. So I'm just going to read it from her. I can't do her any justice. Amanda Horn. Born and adopted in Harare, Zimbabwe, and moved to England at the age of 12. After graduating, Amanda went into the hospitality industry with Trust House Forte Hotels and had the dubious honor of working in the most bombed hotel in the world. That hotel was the Europa Hotel in Belfast, Northern Ireland, for a number of years. Look it up. I did. Ouch. Which goes to show how she can deal with John Horn on a regular basis. Sorry, Scotty. He's going to make fun of me now all tomorrow for that. In the early 1990s, Amanda had the opportunity to become a personal manager to a musician, if you can call a drummer a musician. All you drummers out there, that's her copy. That's not me. All right. After 9 years of traveling the world, she settled here in Bradenton, Florida. Currently, Amanda is the Community Relations Coordinator for the Women's Resource Center of Manatee. For all you young ladies and men, I would advise that you go to the Women's Resource website and look at the blogs or articles that Amanda has up there. It's impressive. And then what I'm also going to ask tonight before you leave is that you stay in contact with Amanda. You are the type of people that she needs to help the type of girls that she is helping. There is a connection in this room. This is where your network's already started since the day you were born, but take advantage of tonight. There's some people sitting around here, as modest as they may be, but they're people you might want to know in the future. They can help you and you can help them. Great articles, by the way. She's also the board chair at PACE, Center for Girls, and she's the royal consort at the Anna Maria Oyster Bar, her husband's restaurant. Amanda and her husband, John, passionately believe in education and that no matter what age you are, it's never too late or too early to improve yourself through knowledge and learning. She's just a fantastic person. She's a great female role model for anybody, a role model in general. They do a lot of good work. If anybody wants to dedicate some time, I say it again, you want to dedicate some time, you want to give back a little to the community, you want to say thank you for something, contact Amanda Horn. She'll steer you in the right pace, and you can't do wrong. Amanda Horn, come on up, please.
So I'm calling up Haley Waldo. This is Haley. And it's so easy to become cynical these days about the youth in our community when reading newspapers and listening to the news and so on. But faith is always restored when you come to the Kallins, Little, and Delgado Scholarship Awards. And most especially when I started reading about this phenomenal young lady, Haley. She's got so much going for her. Valedictorian of her class with 5 college acceptances. She's shown such dedication to her studies, her school, and her community. I'm wondering why she haven't had time to sleep between the National Honor Society and Spanish Honor Society and playing varsity volleyball and tennis and her considerable volunteer activities. Haley is headed to the University of Florida in the fall to study political science and economics, with the idea of going on to study law. Now I see why Kallins, Little, and Delgado crew awarded her the scholarship. Although I do believe it's constitutional law that holds her heart. Sorry, boys. I spoke to a couple of Haley's teachers today, and they were all so incredibly proud of Haley and her work ethic and willingness to take on any challenge without complaint. They called her a true leader. I wanted to read a quote from you from Nelson Mandela, and not just because we're both from South Africa. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And I truly believe that. I can't wait to see what Haley does with her considerable abilities, passionate beliefs, and leadership skills to change the world. Congratulations, Haley Waldo.
You never know when you're in Manatee County who it is that you're standing next to, or who's walking through the store that you're behind in line, or who's at Publix in the same aisle you are. Guys like Bob Davis, Janet Dunnigan, Judge Dunnigan, just regular people that are living and working in Manatee County, that Amanda Horn, John Horn. I can't believe John Horn wore pants. I've never seen John Horn at any formal event in anything but shorts. So you guys are really honored. This is a true honor to have John Horn here in pants. So, and sometimes you read in the papers, if any of you keep up with the politics of Manatee County or current events, and you know who the county commissioners are, you might see a list of county commissioners and think, there's a guy in politics, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you don't know that there's a war hero, or that there's a military genius, or that there's somebody with the background of Commissioner Bussell. So let me tell you a little bit about Commissioner Bussell. And when I tell you that, I'm going to echo what Mr. Davis said, what Bob Davis said, and the reason that we do these scholarships. It's our hope, it's our true, sincere hope that each and every one of you will go away to wherever you go, and that you will succeed to the fullest extent that you can possibly succeed. And then it's our hope you'll come home. And when you come home, we hope that you'll continue with that success and that you'll too give back, that you'll remember this night, and whatever you do, whatever firm you're in, whatever occupation you have, whatever business you're with, you'll come and give back to the community. And in that way, we kind of pay it forward on your behalf. So that's our hope. And that's what Commissioner Bussell did. He was born in Manatee County. So this is somebody from Manatee County. He graduated from Manatee High School. Commissioner Bussell attended the U.S. Naval Academy and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. He was a fighter pilot and a test pilot, and he logged over 3,300 hours of flight. Think about how many hours that is. 3,300 hours of logged flight time. He flew 130, let me say it again, 130 combat missions in Vietnam. 130. He was awarded the Silver Star, which is, I'm going to have to put my glasses on to read my note here, for intentionally and successfully risking your life multiple times under combat conditions. That's how you win the Silver Star. You risk your life multiple times intentionally and successfully under combat conditions. He was awarded the Silver Star. He was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. He was awarded 9 air medals. He was wounded and awarded the Purple Heart for his injury and wounds during the service. In 1967, he was awarded a master's degree in astronautical engineering from the U.S. Air Force Institute of Technology. He served in a number of command positions, and when he left the Air Force, he left as a colonel in 1984, which is 1 grade below brigadier general. He came home. He came back to Manatee County, and he came back to give back. He was mayor of Palmetto for 7 years, and on August 26, 2008, he was elected to the Manatee County Commission. On the commission, he served in various different positions as chairman of the commission, chairman of the Port Authority, and various task forces, which are too numerous for me to mention. His service to the community includes serving on the board of the South Florida Museum. He's past chair of the Manatee Veterans Council. He served on the Community Coalition on Homelessness, Local School Readiness Council, Minnesota League of Cities, and in 2007, he was awarded the Edgar H. Price Jr., another of one of Manatee County's outstanding citizens, the Edgar H. Price Jr. Humanitarian Award for service to his community. So I'm very proud to have and very pleased that Commissioner Bussell would be with us tonight to serve as a presenter. And come on up, Commissioner Bussell. Hopefully I got all that right.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't realize that the presenters were going to be introduced in that fashion, so a little bit of a surprise. I'm very delighted to be one of the presenters tonight. I'm very honored to be standing here in front of you, and I'd like at the outset to congratulate Kallins, Little, and Delgado on your give back to the community. It's pretty awesome, and I'm very proud of you and proud to be standing in the same room with all of you folks. I'm very happy to be amongst a lot of outstanding young people too. I'm very pleased to introduce to you this evening a very worthy recipient of a Kallins, Little, and Delgado scholarship. This young person has excelled in everything he or she has done. Now, I'm going to try to be just a little cute and not identify which gender I'm talking about. Excel in everything he or she has done in high school. He or she has been involved in virtually all activities at school. He or she ran the yearbook, the school newspaper, has artistic talent, excels in math, does photography, has hundreds of hours of community service. At last count, over 500 hours. Is involved in student government, is involved in mentoring, ushering, most likely going to be the valedictorian at his or her high school. After graduation, now it gets particular. She wants to go to the University of Pennsylvania and study communications, journalism, or marketing. She wants to explore as many opportunities as possible in college that would enable her to be a productive citizen. These are her words. That's awesome, to be a productive citizen. Either that be applying for internships with large companies, joining clubs and organizations, or striving to do her best in everything. She wants to fulfill her future with as many opportunities as possible in order to utilize her personal talents and to make the world a better place. All I can say to that is, wow. Please welcome Miss Gabrielle Jarmosko to the front. I'm surprised you're not filming tonight.
I was tempted. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Jay Horn, and I'm the youngest attorney in the office. It's my pleasure to introduce to you tonight the next presenter, and that's Dr. Mark Kallins. He has deep roots here in Manatee County. He's been practicing medicine here in Manatee County since before I was born. But I can assure you, I'm younger than I look. As a board-certified physiatrist, he heads the Rehabilitation Center at Blake Medical and was formerly chairman of the board at Blake. He also founded Pinnacle Medical Group here in Bradenton, and his daughter Molly is following in her father's footsteps, wanting to help others, and is currently in medical school. And Dr. Kallins' list of accolades go on and on and on. And not only that, I've had the pleasure of working with him over the past 3 years. He's very hardworking, charismatic, professional, and makes one darn good witness. I've seen him in action several times as an expert witness testifying for his patients in a trial. When they say, Dr. Kallins, would you like to step down and show the jury what you're talking about? He gets up and goes down there, takes out his model. It's quite amazing. And I've worked with him in one of my trials, and I can say this, that he was one of the few bright spots of the case. And I can also assure you that I didn't just say all that nice stuff, because Dr. Kallins' brother, Scott, signs my paychecks every week. But Dr. Kallins has been a true good force here in Manatee County, and he's here with his wife, Debbie, and granddaughter, Reese. So please, everyone, give Dr. Kallins, someone who I hold in the highest regards, a warm welcome.
I have the pleasure of presenting Vicki Carmen. And Vicki's story is a real true American success story. Bob Davis talked about how he helped to influence young people to transition through very rough waters in their young lives. And the story of Vicki Carmen is that of her mom, who moved here from Mexico City as a young woman in her early 20s to find her way to the American dream. And there's no doubt that Vicki is going to be the realization of her dream. My mom used to say that parents are what children sharpen their teeth on. However, in this room, you like that, Jimmy? However, in this room, I think one of the most important things to recognize is the mom, the dad, the grandparent, because it's your hard work, your dedication, and your love that has produced these fantastic young recipients tonight. Vicki is, as we have seen with all of these recipients, bright, hardworking, and subscribes to the same intense work ethic, productivity, and leadership capacity as all of these people. And every one of them here is a top student, top few percentage of their graduating class, involved in numerous activities in the community. And the specific interest that Vicki has shown is twofold. One is in her participation in the ROTC, where she's had a leadership role. She's been awarded state commendations for her performance in these leadership roles. She's an adjutant. I read a lovely letter of recommendation from a retired Army colonel attributing much of the local ROTC's success to her leadership and hard work. Naturally, as with everyone else here tonight, she's a multiple recipient of the National Honor Society, top student, athlete running cross country, and most importantly, a first-generation American who is going to really make not only her family proud, but this community proud. You told me you want to go into what field?
Orthopedics.
Orthopedics. So when you're going to Manatee Diagnostics to get your x-rays, if there's a fracture, then we'll have somebody here to help you. And Vicki not only is interested in the military and in medicine, but she's planned on going to the
University of Florida.
Very good. And she's going to have a military scholarship where they will require her, after she achieves her MD, to then serve in the military, where she'll have a great uniform, she'll be an officer, and be in charge, and be able to do some wonderful things. And she's going to University of Florida, which you all know is like getting into an Ivy League school. And after that, who knows where she'll go to medical school. But I'm sure, based on her hard work, her intelligence, her pride in her success, and her ability to do well in the future, that, as Melton Little always says, come back to Manatee County and give back, and she will do that. So let me get this award. Would you hold that, please? Thank you. Okay. I'm going to, you get a little closer. I'm going to present this award. This is in honor of my dad, Ed Kallins, who was a physician, and he was a wonderful mentor to Scott and I, and helped us to find our way through life. And in honor of Ed Kallins, I would like to present, one, this check. Okay. Yeah. Two, the Bolletary book. Is it really signed, Melton? Okay, I can see this on eBay very soon. And this award, I want you to take this in honor of my dad, and I'd like to offer congratulations to Vicki Carmen as a recipient of the Kallins Little Delgado law firm. And before you all applaud, these are great guys, not just because he's my brother, but as Bob Davis said, they give back to the community, they care. And if we were up here reading the resume of all of the attorneys in this group, you'd be quite impressed by the thousands of hours they've contributed to so many worthy causes, and most importantly, mentorship and help for the youth in our community. So congratulations.
Like Melton said earlier, at any point in time when you are walking around in Manatee County, you may bump up against someone whom you have no idea who they are, what they've done, where they come from. They're just another person, another guy, another fella living in your town. And fortunately, I've had the privilege through my family, and I didn't get a chance to introduce my family, my brother Mark, my sister-in-law Debbie and Reese, Christina and Alyssa, who is sitting in the back. But through Alyssa and Christina, I had the opportunity to meet a very interesting person who I'm sure you too will find to be accomplished and someone you probably never heard of. A local businessman, owner of the Come See, Come Save store, which is a feed, tack, hardware, ranching equipment supplier in Bradenton. And another person who was born in Manatee County, graduated from Manatee High School, who left Manatee County to go serve in the Air Force and returned to Manatee County in order to have a family, have a business, and contribute back to the community. Jim Parks, as I said, graduated from Manatee High School. But he's also known locally for his passion for agriculture. We've had people in government, we've had presenters from the judiciary, from the field of medicine, and yet the second leading economic driver in Manatee County is agriculture. And we have a presenter today who not only knows a lot about agriculture, has taught a lot about agriculture, but is also generating youth to recognize, realize, and promote agriculture in our community today. Mr. Parks is a member and an officer with the Manatee River Fair Association, the Future Farmers Alumni Association. He's a director of the Florida Farm Bureau. He's been the former president and director of the Manatee County Cattlemen's Association. He was the founder of the Manatee County 4-H Extension Club. He's an inductee in the Manatee County 4-H Hall of Fame. He's an inductee in the Manatee County Agriculture Hall of Fame. He's been awarded the distinction of being named the Agriculturalist of the Year. And most importantly, his greatest distinction is what I learned on the phone yesterday when his wife Linda, who has also been inducted into the Agricultural Hall of Fame, said of Mr. Parks, he's a really great guy. So if I could please present Mr. Jim Parks.
I told somebody a while ago it's hard to embarrass a redneck, but y'all, y'all about done it. I wasn't expecting all that and don't know where they dug it all up from. But it's not about us. It's about these young people and their parents. Parents are the ones that make the difference. Somebody already said that. They stole my thunder. And I'm very passionate about a parent's role in their children. And I think the single biggest responsibility is to teach these young people to be responsible for their own existence. And I feel like that sums it up. And we got a room full of young people that have been led down that path by some very, very intelligent parents, hardworking parents that has passed those traits on to these young people. And we can talk about all of the things they've done. Every one of them has done the same things. And it just fills me with joy to be able to know that this country is going to be in their hands. And the young man that I'm presenting to tonight lives in Parrish now, rural community. He goes to Lakewood Ranch High School. He was first place in a science fair. He's played football for 4 years. He volunteers at team court, and on and on and on and on. Has a tremendous grade point average and is going to be a success. And I'm not going to take up any more time. He is going to go to Florida State University, and I think he wants to be an attorney. So everybody look out, because he's going to come back and do great. And we're going to give that award to Mark Cement. Mark, come up.
You may wonder how we decide the order of presentations, and it's much the same how Melton and I decide our orders at trial and how we're going to do things. We pretty much just take a bunch of names and throw them up in the air, and whichever one lands closest to you, that's yours. So that's essentially the order that we're following tonight. But I have the real pleasure tonight of introducing someone who many of you may know. Certainly you have the opportunity to read about him often if you live in the city of Bradenton, because he is truly a Bradenton guy. Having graduated also from Manatee High School, this individual has had for years, I want to say in excess of 30 years, 31 years, been a civil servant in the Bradenton Fire Department, starting as a fireman and moving right up the ladder. Excuse that descriptive term, but all the way till he became the chief of the Bradenton Fire Department. He has such a distinguished history with the Bradenton Fire Department that Station Number 1 has been named the Gene Gallo Memorial Fire Station. Mr. Gallo is presently serving his 6th term, am I right? Are you in your 6th term as a city councilman in Ward 1? He is known far and wide around Bradenton as being the Bull Gator. He might debate or dispute that, but we who know him know it's true. And with no further ado, Mr. Gallo. I told Gene earlier today, when I first started practicing, I worked for a law firm right across the street from the downtown Station Number 1, and that Mr. Gallo was the very first member of government that I had a chance to meet. And I recall him inviting me into his office and looking me in the eye, sizing me up, looking me up and down, left and right, leaned over his desk and said, "You sure you want to stick around here?" And it's been 30 years later, and I'm still here, and so is he. So here's Gene.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott, and thank you for inviting me here tonight. You have heard a tremendous amount of intellectual people speak tonight, presenters. Mr. Parks, I got you beat. Now you're looking at a first-class redneck. I am the most uneducated person in this room, I can assure you that. But I will start with just a small story before I get into the person that I'm going to present to. I am a graduate of Manatee High School, and the time that I went to Manatee High School, the best way to graduate was to be the meanest rascal you could, and they wanted to get rid of you. They really didn't care about your grades. If you're bad, get out. And I didn't have good grades, but I got out. My dad was a graduate of Columbia University. He came over as an immigrant when he was 15 years old. And he preached education to both my brother and I as we were growing up. So when I graduated from Manatee, I told him that I wanted to go to the University of Florida, that I had 3 buddies and we were going to go to Gatorland. And he said he was so proud. And he said, "Here's the deal. You pay for the first year. If you make it, I'll pay for the rest." I told him, "No, that's not fair. All my buddies' parents are paying for him." He says, "But I'm not that dumb." all my buddies flunked out the first semester, so he was right on target. I am proud to be here tonight. Too many times we read in the paper about young people, but we never get to read about the young people that we're presenting to tonight. And it thrills me to death. I've been involved in the school system and education, not as a teacher, but as a volunteer to many organizations since I got out of high school and got married and had children. And it makes me very proud to be here tonight. I presented these awards for about 10 years for the University of Florida. Sorry, Judge. And it always amazed me when I looked at these young people and looked at what they have accomplished, and especially when I looked at their grades. I didn't know people could make that high of a grade. Tonight, I'm going to present an award to a young lady who just, when I read the information, just blew me away. And she'll probably know who she is, but I'm not going to invite her up until I'm done, so you can give her a big applause. But she is a student at Southeast High School. She has received many awards and accolades in both sports and in academics. She's a 4-year starter on the softball team. She's ranked 7th in her class. Her GPA weighted is 4.8. And I can tell you that my breath stopped when I saw that. I looked through her resume like another presenter looking for B's and C's. There was nothing but A's on that entire 4 sheets that I looked at. Nothing less than an A. And it's just, again, it excites me to know people like that. Her community service is, without question, unbelievable. From helping kids fight hunger to coordinating and decorating an annual breast cancer fundraiser for 2 years. While she was doing that, she also sold 500 t-shirts. Unbelievable. She will attend Georgia Tech, where she will major in industrial engineering. Now, I wondered why she was going to Georgia Tech. Unfortunately, I heard about it at the table tonight. While she wants to go there, for some reason, I think she might have been influenced because her mom and dad are both alumnus from Georgia Tech. But she has selected a great college to go to, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Megan Stevens. So my daddy told me anyway. I just didn't listen.
I guess we should explain to the parents when they see the envelopes that these young people are opening how we do our scholarships. It's kind of, we've done them for so long, I think sometimes we might just take for granted that everybody understands what's happening. But this is the way Scott, Jimmy, and I do the scholarships. We just hand you a check. So if you're a $1,000 recipient, you just got a check for $1,000. Use it for whatever you want. We were all in college once. We needed gas money. We needed furniture for our apartments. We needed to pay our fraternity dues. We needed clothes. Whatever you want to use it for. That's part of our faith in you and our trust in you that you'll make the wisest decision possible for the way that you use the money that we've awarded you. So it's not like we send it to your school and they apply it to your tuition. We hand you the check and we let you make the decisions. And we considered that when we selected you as our recipients. We have special awards that we've named to honor people. You've heard a little bit about Andrea. Andrea was our longtime legal assistant who passed away from an arthritic condition way too young. Victoria Carmen. Where's Victoria? Over there. You're really lucky because you received the Ed Kallins Award. And Ed Kallins lived to 101 years of age. So there's some rumor that everyone who receives that award will either live that long or longer. So congratulations. And we had another award that we added this year for Pastor Tripp Battle, who was taken away from us at way too young of an age with way too much to give for us not to honor and include. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Pastor Battle and why we did this award, because I think that's important for you to all know and for the presenters to know as well. And then I'm going to introduce Joy, his wife, and Joy is going to present the award. So let me explain why we created the Pastor Tripp Battle Memorial Scholarship. And first of all, Joy's here, and Tripp's parents, Jimmy and Rhonda Battle, are here, and we're very glad to have you. We're very happy you're here. So thank you for coming. It's a real honor for us to have you. And Joy and Tripp had 2 children, Sophie and Joshua. They're not here, but I wanted to mention them as well. And this is not only an opportunity to honor Tripp's memory, but also to reemphasize how he exemplifies the purpose of why we award these scholarships. Pastor Tripp was a Bayshore Bruin, through and through. He had a passion for Bayshore High School. He was a Bayshore Bruin football player. He graduated in 2001. I met Trip because in 2014, our current coach, Elijah Freeman, and I volunteer with the team a little bit, our current coach, Elijah Freeman, decided it would be a good idea for us to have a team chaplain. So he asked Trip, or reached out to Trip, and Trip came in to be our team chaplain. And what he began to do immediately was to attempt to change the culture of the program and the culture of the young men who were playing on our football team. And he tried to do that by impacting and emphasizing what he thought were important character traits and making an impression of those character traits on their lives. And it was not easy. I watched it. It was slow going at first, and Chase Richardson's one of our recipients. He can probably talk about it a little too. He's not getting this award, but he can talk about it a little too. It was slow going at first, but I saw that over time, the message that Tripp was giving started to sink in, and I started to see a change in some of the young men on our team. And that change then became contagious. It was my honor and my privilege, and I was blessed to have known Tripp, even for just a short time that I had the chance to know him. I got an opportunity to ride with him on the bus. He usually rode in front of me, so he and I talked on every away trip, all the way there and all the way back, and it was just a true joy, and I really looked forward to the time I spent with him. This scholarship is a way to honor his memory, but it's also a way to continue his message and his ministry to the young men and women from the school he loved, Bayshore High School. That's the school and community that he came home and the school that he gave back to, which is what I'm asking each and every one of you to please consider doing. It's a way not only to honor his memory, but it's also a way, more importantly, to not let the taking of his life end his mission. We're not going to let him be defeated and his mission be defeated by a senseless act of violence. As Tripp said in a tweet that I read online on October 1st, 2014, in calling us to die, Christ is actually rescuing us from death and giving us real life. That was Tripp. That was what he believed. So it's going to be my privilege to introduce Joy to honor the first of what I hope will be many Reverend Tripp Battle scholarship winners. Joy was born in Rockford, Illinois, and she went to Baptist College of Florida where she met Tripp. Baptist College of Florida is located just off Highway 231. I know that because I went to Samford University and Cumberland School of Law, and there didn't used to be I-75. It used to be US 19, and I had to drive home the 13 or 14 hours in my beat-up Vega and my exploding, unsafe at any speed Pinto down those roads. So you get on 65 to Montgomery, you take 231 to 10, you take 10 to 19, and you're home about 13 hours later. Drove it many times. The nearest booming metropolis to their college would have been the large metropolitan area of Dothan, Alabama, where they had their first date at the Outback, and 4 months later they were engaged. And when you see Joy and you hear her, you'll understand why. As I said, they've had 2 children. Joy was quoted as saying, "The best way to honor my husband's life is to carry on and keep on." And that's what she's been doing. So it's my pleasure to introduce Joy Battle, who is a woman of incredible faith, inner strength, and I'm proud to have her be here to present the first of many recipients of the Tripp Battle Award. Joy Battle.
Good evening. Tripp was a big man, and he had an extremely big heart. He loved God, his family, his church, and his community. And one of the areas in the community that he really seemed to have a passion for was the Bayshore football team and their coaches. His face lit up when he spoke of all of you and the time that he spent as the chaplain. And it is with great honor that I bestow for the first time tonight the Reverend James Tripp Battle Scholarship to a most deserving young man. If Tripp were here, I know he would look at you and quote Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope." This young man has excelled academically, in his athletics, and in his personal life in spite of great trials. He aspires to be a veterinarian and will be attending the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee. And he is going to be majoring in biology. The Reverend James Tripp Battle Scholarship goes to Ryan Davis. Congratulations.
If you're doing your math, you know there's 4 more left. And if you're really good at math, which most of you are, you know that the next ones are the $2,000, there's 3 $2,000 and a $3,000 left. Before I get started, is this thing on? All right. What's funny is 5 of the 7 most important people in my life are here today. Scott and Melton, it's a marriage. The 3 of us, good and bad. Unfortunately, I will always be the little brother, the last one in line, the 3rd one. But it's a relationship and it's a family. I've got my parents. Will you please stand up, Mom and Dad? Stand up real quick. I love sports. I loved everything. But I must say that the only hero I've ever had in my life is my father. I learned everything about compassion from my father. And I learned everything about slicing people's throats and hurting them and killing them from my mother, which is my strongest talent. Tell you, that little lady is the scariest, most awesome negotiator ever. And I thank you, because if not, I'm not sure where, if I just had my dad, I don't know where I would have landed. But my mom made my character, and I bless her for it. Some people think we're cold. We're just there. So I love you guys, and thank you for being here. The 2 people that are missing is my son and my daughter. I am very fortunate. I have kids like you have kids. My son is studying for his APs tonight. His bio reads like your bio. He will be attending the University of Emory. And my daughter's only 14, but I think she's on the same path. And the reason I say that, not to brag, well, just a little bit. I understand the hard work you go through as parents, and I think sometimes people forget that. The sacrifices we make, the times we spent shuffling to here, shuffling there, so they get the best in the world. We've seen the sacrifices our children make, studying, extra studying, reading the book, reading on trips, what we go through, and as parents, give yourself you've done a fantastic job. Please give yourself a round of applause, please. You know, it's easier said than done, because not only do you worry about what you tell them, that's the easy part, but those around them, the peer pressure, and sometimes that's the hard part, is how do you make sure that all that heavy lifting doesn't go to waste? So the next recipient, Chase, come on up here. If I have to be up here, so do you. I, like Judge Dunnigan, don't mind talking though, but I'm on a strict 3-minute. And I'll go over this time. We're ahead of schedule, Melton. I'll get a little closer. I'm not going to bite you. Well, not that close. No, just kidding. I'm messing with you, Chase. Let me go through the basics first. Varsity football, varsity baseball, Mu Alpha Theta Math Club, National Honor Society, sports editor for the Paw Print at Bayshore, tutoring. And 2 big factors. Mark and Jennifer, please stand up. That's his parents. They also deserve a round of applause. Yada, like everybody else, top 4 in his class, the Notre Dame Book Award, all the good stuff. But here's what really made Chase stand out. Adversity. For most of us, and for most of you, and that's a good thing, adversity means, no, you cannot have a pony. Or, no, the dog you just found, you cannot keep it. Is Alyssa still here? That's too bad. No, you cannot have a $200 pair of shoes. No, you cannot have the new Mac Air. I just bought you one last month. That's adversity to them. But these words is true adversity. I'm sorry, but your test results show cancer. That's adversity. Thus began his 4-year struggle. And we're talking about many spinal taps, blood transfusions, and even a port placement in his upper chest, which I think you carry a 2-inch scar, correct? I don't say this for you to feel sorry for him or he feels sorry for himself. The point is, that's what makes a person a good person. That's what makes you strong. It's easy to deal with success. It's easy. You just say thank you. You smile. People talk about you. They brag about you. But how you deal with adversity is what makes you who you are. It's what makes you stronger. And he wrote, and his quotes are actually fantastic. He says, as you can see, my cancer diagnosis has significantly impacted my life as well as those around me. I am living proof that I have passed the true test of life or death. Cancer does not only affect you negatively, but positively. I found that it made me a more positive, thankful, and stronger individual. My cancer has had a big influence on my actions today. It made me want to fight for those who can't want to fight through it. It made me what I want to prove myself and that it saved me for a reason and that I can do anything anyone else can do. You sure you're the editor for the newspaper? And it made me want to give everything and give back to those less fortunate. That's what makes a true person. That's what we're about here tonight. You know, it amazes me. And I wish that everybody in the community tonight could see who you are and who your children are and who your parents are. I think everybody here should take time and write some of those pointers down and, you know, and help others that are along the way. Chase, you're fantastic. And I'm going to leave it off with another one of his quotes. I can't wait to show the world what I'm made of. And Chase, neither can we. A recipient of the first $2,000 Kallins and Delgado Award scholarship, Chase. Oh my God. Thank you. Sorry. I married my best friend. She has given me the 2 most wonderful children, and I couldn't do anything. The first 6, 7 years of your career, and Jay can attest to it, and he's going to have it. He's going to have it soon. It's hell living with an attorney. It's hell living with an attorney that never wants to come home, that's always thinking, that's always tired, that's always thinking about other people and trying to help other people. Sherry, I love you to death. Sorry, I didn't mean to forget it. Yeah, I kind of feel like Kobe Bryant right now. That goes, all right. Chase, congratulations. There she goes. Throughout the years, we've had many attorneys and associates come through our office. And let me tell you, the next guy, Jay Horn, he's a local guy. He's Manatee, just like you guys. Southeast graduate, winner of, what's that thing called again? The Golden Feather Quill. His nickname is Quilly. And funny, we didn't believe him when he first came to work for us. And poor guy, I think we intimidated him. It's kind of a hard crew to work with. And we said, look, we don't believe you that you went to Southeast. We don't believe you're IB. We don't believe about this golden quill thing. We don't believe any of it. We were joking. He didn't know that. So the next day he comes in, he's got all his certificates. And he's got letters of recommendation. And he's got his post from the newspaper. And he had his dad, I think, waiting to tell me, yes, that's my son. But truly, you know, one thing, as most of us know, having people work for you or work with you, it's hard to find somebody that has the same compassion. One thing about our firm that nobody said yet, we haven't talked about it yet, you are not allowed to work as an attorney in our firm if you're not giving back to the community. If you don't have a pet project or projects for some of us, you are not, that is just not who we are. Giving back is more than just saying giving back. We make money from the community. There's no doubt about that. But when you make money from somebody, you also have to give back. As attorneys, we forget what we are. We are advocates. we are the people you come to. You can make fun of us as much as you want, and we've earned some of that negative criticism. But we are standing between you and bad things. That's what we do. And Jay Horn is probably one of the finest young attorneys we've hired since me. He's fantastic. He does what he's told. He does it freely. He does it lovingly. He works hard at it. And I couldn't be more proud than call Jay Horn that Jay Horn works with us. Thank you, Jay.
You have to take the nice words when you can get them. Will Esther Garcia please come up? So I had the pleasure of getting to meet her and sitting at the table with her. And she's here with her two parents, Caesar and Jessica. And they're there in the back, and of course they've done a great job, just like all the other parents here tonight with their children. Esther Garcia, she goes to Braden River High School. She has a 4.64 weighted GPA, which is outstanding. Some of the things that stood out to me on the application, she does Future Business Leaders of America, and she's held just about every single position there is, and then also not only at the school level but at the district level. And that's a great accomplishment. Another thing that stood out to me was that she founded the American Red Cross Club at Braden River, and that just shows the leadership characteristics that she has. Very good, very good. And one of her teachers, AP history teachers, wrote describing her as in the 14 years that teacher had taught, she was one of the few students that always took the chance to make herself better. And that's something that's very, very important. And I also learned that she's going to be going to Emory. And hopefully we can maybe hook her up with Mr. Delgado's son, who's also going there at Emory. And they may have a couple classes together because they're both doing pre-med at Emory. And she's going to be a fine doctor. And also, she's going to also be a good business person because she did the FBLA, which is a great characteristic to have. So please, everybody, congratulate Esther.
I got nervous for a second. In my defense, I did say 5 out of 7. You are one of those 7. Oh, by the way, real quick, there's 2 families in here that the Stevens, right? We gave your daughter 2 years ago, and the Garcias also 2 years ago. I think they've hit Cornell, Harvard, and Emory. That's pretty impressive. Of the 3 children, there's 4, but of the 3 children, right. Which is the other one? UF. So we got Cornell, Harvard, Emory, and UF. I don't know what you guys are eating, but. Carolina Montes, come on up here. And before, where Carolina's coming up here, always, Edgar Montes, the parents, and Amparo Zamora, please stand up. A hand for you, too. All right, I'm going to go through the typical stuff. And just to put that out there right now, Debate Club of Manatee High School, vice president of that and president of that. She helps students improve public speaking, teaches parliamentary procedure. Manatee High School Democrats, co-founder of that club in high school, elected president of that too. Mu Alpha Theta, Mathematics Honor Society. Varsity golf, varsity tennis, Team Manatee County weightlifting, I'm gonna say Mamsellas? Mamsells, sorry, that's new for me. Accepted to the University of Florida. She was one of 200 girls chosen as a delegation, the women's delegation up in Tallahassee. I have a feeling they didn't listen to you. Yeah, okay. President's Dean's List at SCF, Dean's List at SCF, Renaissance Academic Award, the White M Academic Award, the Red M Athletic Award. But here's what makes her special. She's taking 5 classes at State College of Florida while also working full time. That's amazing. That's impressive. Carolina was a refugee from Colombia to this country. And I think she wrote, juggling school, work, and sports has proven to be difficult. But in order to finance my family without giving up on my dream, I motivate myself every day to have enough energy. That's what you kids are about, is you always go that extra step. There is nothing that can stop you. That is impressive. You'd be surprised, and talk to, and I know you know them, talk to some of your relatives' children, your neighbors' children. That's not the norm. You kids are way above, and Carolina, you stand with everybody here tonight, and the awards were made for you children. You know, she wrote, this scholarship is not going to be just a financial support, but for me, it's evidence to prove to my urban students as someone who was once hopeless, now has accomplished something great. Therefore, I aspire to be a significant, positive influence in making a difference in the international community in the near future. I was having a conversation with Carolina at the table, and it's a great table. We have the Horns, we have Mayor Busso, we have my parents, we have my wife, we have her parents. And Don, man, you really trying to get me in trouble? You know, I had to ask her, how old are you? And the conversation she was having with Amanda about what her delegation did in Tallahassee and what she wants to do in Tallahassee, and I think one of her ambitions is to be ambassador to the UN. Those are conversations that adults are having. And let's be honest, only 2% of adults are having those real conversations. It was impressive. And you know, I sat there thinking, we know we are in good hands after all. We all hear the negative, we all hear the bad. We watch too much television sometimes, but we don't look around us and see that there really is talented kids in this world, young adults. And Carolina, I am happy to say that you are truly one of those children. I'm so proud that you're here with us tonight. I'm so proud what you've done, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do. Carolina, recipient of another $2,000 Kallins Little and Delgado Scholarship Award.
Well, there's only one of you left. Come on up. Congratulations, Priscilla. We have a difficult time separating each and every one of you. It's so difficult, believe us, when we tell you we get around 100 applications, plus or minus. Some years they get to 120, some years they drop to 90, but it averages around 100 total applications. We go through those. Heather does a great job. Ann does a great job of sorting through them for us, highlighting certain things for us, summarizing certain things for us, but we look at each one of them. I can promise each and every one of you here, we looked at every piece of your application. We read your essays over and over again. Particularly when we got down to the final 4. We spent a lot of effort and time reading through them. And Priscilla, you came out as our $3,000 winner. Congratulations. I'll just talk about her qualifications, and I'll let Scott talk about her essay. Okay? All right. Priscilla has listed her extracurricular activities: softball 4 years, powerlifting 4 years, forensic speech and debate, orchestra, Mu Alpha Theta, National Honor Society, forensic speech and debate duo, interpretation team captain award, first place Gulf Coast Catholic Forensic League award, powerlifting captain, powerlifting most improved, 4.0 GPA and athlete award, First place drag car design award. Says drag dar on here, but drag car design award. There's a proofreading mistake for Scott. Senior superlative, best all around, concert master of the Cameretta Orchestra, junior leadership Manatee graduate, which is a great organization. She did volunteer community service with the Disabled Children's Summer Program, the Grand Prix Disabled Children's Boat Race. She's been a tutor at Jesse P. Elementary for 4 years. She plans to go to the University of Central Florida in Orlando to major in mechanical engineering. Scott will tell you a little bit more about that when he reads her essay. Then she hopes to get her master's degree from Central Florida as well. She plans to be involved in student government at UCF, as well as hopes to, by her sophomore year, to be the RA, which is the resident assistant in the dorms. So all of that's impressive. Her GPA was 3.7, so some of you had some higher GPAs. The extracurriculars came into play, and then we read your essays, and I think that's probably what separated you from the other $2,000 award winners, and I'll let Scott talk a minute about that.
And it wasn't first place drag design award. Her essay starts off as follows. You walk into the Florida Auto Show, and the first thing you see is a 500 horsepower Porsche 911 GT3 RS. You look under the hood, and you see a newly developed flat 6 4.0 liter engine that enables the car to reach 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds and 124 miles an hour in 10 seconds. Next to the computer is a screen displaying the details of the make, the model, the year, the parts, and the designer. Under the description of the engine, you see the name of the designer on the bottom left portion of the screen. Priscilla Arena. Priscilla has what I can only describe as beyond a passion for design. She's programmed herself to succeed in design and in engineering. She writes, "Once I believed it was possible, I strived for the highest grades I could achieve. Everything I do is with full determination. Since middle school, I've been taking high school courses to prepare me for the rigor of high school. And now I'm taking college courses in high school to prepare me for the university level. Being dual enrollment student at the State College of Florida has really opened my eyes to what college is like. I'm currently participating in 2 sports, 3 clubs, taking 2 college courses. And in May, I will graduate in the top 4% of my class. I will have more than half of my AA degree completed. And this summer, I'll be pursuing my career at the University of Central Florida in Orlando to obtain my master's degree in mechanical engineering." The engineering is a great orientation and a great focus. The reason she developed that was because of the dual passion with her dad. Last year, she lost her dad, and it's her intention to continue on with that same passion, that same focus, that same desire, that same wonderment of building that new Porsche 911 GT3 RS that goes to 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds and 124 miles an hour in 10 seconds.
Scott hopes you'll give him one.
And I'm really hoping that I'll get to drive the very first one off the assembly line. And in addition to all of that, you're working, hoping to contribute to your own college tuition. You're preparing yourself in each and every way, and you're an impressive young lady, and we are really proud of you to be our scholarship winner for the Kallins Little Delgado $3,000 scholarship.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Come on around and- So there you have it, the 2015 Kallins Little Delgado Scholarship. Melton spoke a little bit about it before, and I think individually I spoke to all of you as you entered. 100 applications and 11 winners, and assuredly we are proud of each and every one of you. But the message that we want you to leave with is the same message that we want you to return with. Go get your education. Go learn your skill. Become a valuable member of our community. Come back and give back. That's the message that we are giving to you. That's the hope that we have. That's the reason we're paying forward for you all to go to college, to develop those wonderful opportunities, and come back and share them with others who are now like you, awaiting the opportunity to go to college, awaiting the opportunity to learn those things necessary to make our community better. So I think I'm going to invite, we're going to invite all of the recipients up to the front. We're going to get a big group photo. If you'd like to get a photo with your folks, that would be wonderful as well. And once again, congratulations to all of you. I know many of you are up for other awards and other presentations and scholarships with other organizations, and we wish you luck. Oh, and lastly, after you go to college for your first semester and after you've had all of those experiences, like other previous winners, drop by our office, come in, say hello. We look forward to seeing you, hearing about your experience, hearing about what college is like for you, hearing from you what your plans are. Some of you may change your plans after the first semester. We'd like to know that because we want to know you and we want to see you develop throughout the course of your lives. Okay, so thank you very much and thank you all for coming.